Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you are new here, what up? Today we're going to be talking about Azrael, the festive fire sorcerer that has just released. I've been flying it for a few days now, and I haven't flown it a ton, but I do have enough of a feel of it to go ahead and give my pros and cons and how I really feel about the dragon. And the first thing that we are going to do, as we do in all of these videos, is go over the spell kit and what the dragon actually does so that you have a better understanding of how it works and where my opinions come from. The first spell that we have is Magical Archive. This is a passive spell. It is similar to Steel Essence, and it basically is that spell. It just gives you different spells. So destroying a tower grants you another spell depending on which tower is destroyed. I do have a whole chart of everything that you get that will be included in the video and that we will go over later. The next spell is Flash Fire. If you are familiar with Jormungandr, then you know that Flash Fire freezes and debuffs the towers. So the affected towers do take 50% increased damage, which really helps with Sorcerer's breath damage attack. It doesn't deal much damage, but when paired with the Flash Fire, you do get a debuff, and it is decent to use with auto battle. So it is quite nice as a spell add-on to the kit. We also have Solar Strike, which is a white zero rage death gaze type spell. It heavily damages target towers. When I first made my spell kit slide, I was pulling information from Neon. There was an old sorcerer that had this spell, and it was the only other dragon that had this spell. And on that one, it did heal, but on Azrael, it does not heal you. So it is just a death gaze. You do not get any other added benefit other than it has a decently slow cooldown or short cooldown. So you can use it quite often on like a long kill. I think it's like 3 or 4 times that you can use it. So it's quite nice that you do have a short cooldown on it and you can use it, since it is one of the main ways that you deal damage with the dragon. The last spell that we have is Adaptive Flak Resist. It is a passive. You cycle between different flak resists and you gain a little bit of rage each time you cycle through. We've seen this on a ton of dragons. It's nothing new, but it is super nice for this dragon to be able to get rage pretty, I wouldn't say quickly, because it does take a while to build up when you're cycling, but it is a constant way to keep getting a little bit of rage back while you're flying. And especially because you don't have to do anything as far as breath damage, it's super nice to kind of have that extra thing if you're on auto battle that you can do to kind of keep your rage up and not just cycle the spells. So within Magical Archive, you can get Valkyries Wind, Mark of Kayla, and Shield of the Isles. The first one is you deal 6% HP as damage each second for 3 seconds. It's similar to Quasar's like Go Boom spell, where you're just doing damage for a few seconds. The spell is a red spell, so if your red mages aren't down, it's not going to deal damage, but it will help you dodge incoming projectiles, mages, and stuff like that. The next spell that we have is Mark of Kayla. You mark a tower, and when it's destroyed, you gain 35% HP and 2 rage. The 35% HP is very nice, and you gain a lot of health back from it. So it is a spell that I would try to get between islands and something that you can really put down and save yourself kind of with. Because again, you get rage and you're getting that massive heal, so it is something to kind of keep you going. I know that there is a little bit of RNG with this, and you can't always predict what spell you're going to get, but if you can, definitely seek it out when you need it. Lastly, we have Shield of the Isles. It is an invincible shield that also blocks mage super shots for a second duration. It is a very nice shield to have because it does allow you the opportunity to not get mage drained, but I believe an ice flak can still cancel it. So keep that in mind. You definitely want to get the ice flaks down if you're going to use the shield, because even though it blocks the mage super shots from mage draining you, it does not protect you from the canceling that the ice flak does. So it will take it away very quickly. So Valkyries Wind, you get this from legacy towers like archers, cannons, ballistas, red mages, lightnings, ice turrets, and the Dracul pylon. So all of that will give you Valkyries Wind, which is the gale type spell that does damage and helps you dodge anything incoming. Shield of the Isles is gained through blue mages, fire turrets, crystal howitzers, dark flak, ice flak, electro flak, and fire flaks. So any kind of high damage tower that you would probably see as a priority is going to give you the shield. Super nice shield, and definitely a very good addition to the spell kit. Then lastly, Mark of Kayla is acquired through a Storm Tower, Earth Flag, or Cosmic Orrery, all shielding towers, totems, and perches. So if you can kind of prioritize getting your perches down, you can get this to kind of heal back up when needed. Now, pros. Auto battle is super useful on this dragon because you can stack that debuff freeze and just keep auto battle on to help you get the towers down. While the breath damage from sorcerers doesn't do a ton of damage, it is enough to help you out. The dragon has a death gaze, a dodge, a mark for health and rage, a shield, a debuff and freeze, and a toggle resist to also help you get rage. There is so much in this dragon and in this spell kit that I really feel like it is a good dragon. It has a ton of pros, not to mention that it is absolutely beautiful. I am in the CF, and this was the first dragon that we saw whenever they were talking about the Celestial Rift season, and I thought it was gorgeous. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, and I couldn't wait to fly it. Also, it's pink. So I was super excited about it. I love it, and I think it is beautiful. Now, the cons. Smart defenders will kill you. They will know what to super shot. They will know exactly when to time things whenever you don't have that extra spell equipped and you have to destroy something. So it is going to be a little bit tricky for you. I feel like smart defenders kill me regardless of which dragon that I'm flying, though. So it isn't really like a huge con. You can't always predict 100% which spell that you will steal or toggle through the passive. There is a little bit of randomness and a little bit of RNG. You can't always predict what's going to happen in a run, but you can prepare yourself as best you can. Your breath damage won't do much of anything without the debuff because it is a sorcerer. That is the downfall of most sorcerers in general. It's not like a hidden fact or anything that they try to hide, but auto battle does help a ton as far as flying sorcerers, I have personally found. Also, the biggest takeaway for me is it is really, really expensive to max it out, and it will always be a tier behind if you are in game. Whenever the new tier comes out, the festives don't follow suit until later, so you will always have a dragon that is a little bit behind. While you can always level it up, in theory, the dragon shards are hard to come by once it is not their season. So if you maxed all of your chests for Azrael and you max her out, later on it will be quite difficult to get the necessary amount of shards to like remax her out. So that is kind of concerning. It is probably not a dragon that I would recommend for in-game players just because of that. The festive for in-game players is more about the 600 draconic chest than it is about the dragon, but for most mid to reaching in tier to newer players, Azrael will do quite well on most bases, especially if you're like Garnet tier, you have all the spells unlocked. You are going to steamroll stuff if you can get the hang of the dragon. Like, it is very, very good. It flies similar to a hunter-esque feel just because of the way that the spells work, but it is also the sorcerer. It has that passive auto battle breath damage constantly going, so it is super, super nice. Another con, though, is it is fire. Zul is fire. Quasar was fire. Lupin was fire. We've had so many fire dragons lately. Nebulon, which was last season's festive, was fire. So we've had 2 mythics and 2 festives that were both fire within 1-2 seasons. So that it kind of complicates things if you don't want to let another fire dragon go or you don't have a second set of fire gear. You kind of have to pick and choose. So I get that 100% because I got Quasar, and even though I wanted Nebulon too, I did not have a second set of fire gear at the time. So it kind of sucks. I get it. Overall, it is very, very good. It is one of the best sorcerers and festive that we've seen in a long time. It will do really, really well when it is flown well, but it is subject to RNG because, again, you can't predict everything that's going to happen in a run, no matter what dragon you're flying, but especially this one because it relies on stealing the right spell. The breath damage it lacks is made up in its hunter-like spell sequencing, giving you multiple ways to dodge, freeze, and shield yourself from attacking towers. There are multiple ways to gain rage, and the mark gives you a large amount of health. Again, I would recommend it to most flyers, but the price point and the fact that it always is a tier behind leaves me not recommending it for in-game players. And I mean, like anyone else, it will be so, so good. It will be so, so good for you. If you have the fire gear, if you don't mind putting another fire dragon that maybe isn't as great at the back burner and taking Azrael on, and you put the time in to learn the sequencing, I think it will be, do really well. I think it'll be a good dragon. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. It kind of reminds me a little tiny bit of like when Equestor first came out, and that was one of the dragons that I had gotten and I loved. So I think a lot of people will enjoy it, and I give it 2 thumbs up. So hopefully more dragons like this come out in the future that are super usable for a multitude of players. I think that this dragon was really well made, and props to PG for coming up with it. So that is my review, my pros, my cons, my overall thoughts. We went through the spell kit. I hope you guys have a beautiful, wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.